Hi, I'm John Hope Bryant. I'm the founder, chairman, and chief executive officer of Operation Hope. I'm also the vice chairman of the U.S. President's Council on Financial Literacy. I thought I had a grip on what the problem was and what the challenges were in our community, and that's why I've been focusing on Operation Hope for 16 years, and that's why I work to inspire and encourage the President of the United States to make financial literacy U.S. policy. It was his action and our work's inspiration, and now that's where I spend most of my time. But recently, some statistics that have come out have rocked my sense of stability and a sense of vision for the future. I read a report, one by the Department of Education, another by America's Promise, that said this: 30% of all of our kids in this country are dropping out of high school. Now, that's shocking enough, and that's a crisis in and of itself. I mean, of all of the developed countries in the world, that puts America at the bottom. And in an information age, in an information economy, that can be good news. But that's everybody, every race, color, creed, every socioeconomic factor. But it gets worse. When mainstream America has a headache, black and brown folks have pneumonia, but we're all sick. The dropout rate in the inner cities is 40 to 75%. Now, if you weren't sitting down when I said that, you might have fallen down. Let me put this in practical terms. Who's going to marry your daughter? Who's going to work in your business? Who's going to take care of you and me when we retire and we need Social Security? Who's going to pay into that system? You're talking about an entire generation of young people that some think we need to effectively write off. I disagree. I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and says, "Ooh, I want a mortgage." Nobody wants a mortgage. They want to become a homeowner. Nobody wants a car loan. They want an efficient automobile. If you're a young person, you want a cool car. I don't know how many people wake up in the morning and says, "Ooh, I want an education," unless you're an academic. I think that, like everything, education is aspirational. At least it should be. And I think that there's been a disconnect between the education and the aspiration. And I think these kids are dropping out of high school because they don't believe education is relevant to their future. How do you make education relevant to their future? Show these kids how to get rich legally. Show them how to do well legally, by the rules. Inspire them to do better and to do more, and they'll stay in school. How do you do that? I think it's easy. Financial literacy, free enterprise and capitalism, ownership, what I call silver rights, making free enterprise and capitalism relevant to the poor. And if you've got a public record, and you know what I mean by a public record, you can't go get a job at Citigroup or Wells Fargo or GM. I don't care how brilliant you are, you can't pass the background check. But you can become an entrepreneur. You can become a self-employment project. And we all know that many of these kids are already natural entrepreneurs. I mean, you may not be able to get a job at Wells Fargo, but you can get a loan from Wells Fargo to become an entrepreneur or a self-employment project. Let me be a little edgy here. If you have a public record, you're a young person in an inner city, and you're involved in gangs, or God forbid you're a drug dealer, you need to pay your debt to society. You need to go to jail if that's appropriate, and you need to make amends. Now, if you were good at that, if you were good at being a drug dealer, whatever good means, if you were successful at that, whatever successful means, you might have been immoral and illegal, but you weren't dumb. You understood import, export, finance, marketing, wholesale, retail, profit margin, geography, territory, and customer service. So you're not talking about dumb kids. You're talking about misdirected kids. And when they know better, they'll do better. The book, The Tipping Point, sort of blew my mind. This book said that at 5% role models, a community stabilizes. Now, I didn't say 50% role models. I didn't say 25% role models. I said at 5% role models, everything stabilizes, irrespective of race. But at 3.7% role models, everything explodes. Teen pregnancies come off the chart. Dropout rates come off the chart. Crime comes off the chart. I think it's really simple. These kids want to be rap stars, athletes, or God forbid, drug dealers, not because they're dumb and not because they're stupid. They are modeling what they see. They're actually very smart. They're looking around and at what they perceive to be successful, and they want to model that. But at 3.7% role models, it's too thin. You can't remember, reflect, understand, or appreciate what a black man with a suit on looks like with a business card, or any man with a suit on. You can't appreciate what a woman with a dress on or a business suit on looks like. So you do what you do, and it's what you don't know that you don't know that's killing you. Well, I believe rainbows after storms. I believe that there is a vision for these young people. And so we've fashioned an answer to this challenge, and we call it 5 million kids. And our strategy and our mission is simple. Over the next 5 years, we want to change a negative epidemic to a positive epidemic. We want to break the back of the dropout generation. Plain and simple. Here's our 4-point plan. We'll educate 5 million kids over the next 5 years in financial literacy. We're going to teach them free enterprise and capitalism and ownership. Somebody said to me that, free enterprise and capitalism was a bad thing. Well, it's sort of like democracy. It's a horrible system except for every other system. It's not a bad thing. The only problem with free enterprise and capitalism is that poor people don't have any. So we're going to teach these kids about how to become owners and to make decisions in their lives so they're not taking advantage of those who understand more than they do. We're going to give them a bank account so that they're not giving away 10% or 20% of their money to check cashers and payday lenders and others, and give them access to there are more people who don't have a bank account today that didn't have the right to vote in 1963. And not having the right to vote in 63 spawned the civil rights movement. What about a civil rights movement? I want to give all these kids a role model. So we're going to spark a 5% movement to get 25,000 kids role models by 25,000 adults. And actually, I think the 25,000 adults will be able to leverage up on those 25,000 kids and touch hundreds of thousands of kids, and then have those kids become role models to others to show these kids who they can be by looking at them and saying, I can be you. We're going to start a Make Smart Sexy campaign. That's right. We've made dumb sexy in this country. We're going to make smart sexy again by rebranding education through the media, through hip-hop artists, through athletes, and through others who these kids want to emulate. And then we're going to, last but not least, we're going to attack these households and give these parents the tools to compete, because the number one reason for divorce in America is money. We're going to give them financial counseling, financial intervention, and a bank account and the earned income tax credit. More on that later. That's just a tease. I want to leave you with this message as a way to inspire you to do more and to believe that one person can make a difference. You are that one person.